Easter Deezy, Cam Capone News Nuggets once again. SPI the most Easty. I think my first time coming through this platform was about 7 years ago. I don't know if
And
I
we
was.
did it at a little. It was this dude's apartment, and he was just renting it out for photo shoots.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah. And
I
they
thought
just
it was
rented
downtown,
it.
right?
Yeah, downtown.
But
LA.
it looked the way he had it with the lights. I thought it was studio-ish. I had no idea it was somebody's apartment.
Yeah, man, bro. I didn't even have no lights, bro. I brought lights from the house.
That's crazy.
Okay, I bought. Listen, this is probably some shit you don't know. I took lights from the house so I'd have lights. I borrowed a camera
Wow.
from my homie, and I bought, like, I didn't know anything about audio or how to do audio, so I bought like lav mics off of Amazon.
Other than these.
So
Okay.
they weren't good, and they just went directly into the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So when we did the interview and the interview was over and I got home, all my audio was for some reason your audio still came out good. So I had to re-record all my audio. That's why if you listen to the first interview, my audio sounds crisp because I used to have a studio. So I recorded it all with
you've engineered
studio.
before.
Yeah. And I kept your audio. That's why it sounds
I didn't know that.
different.
All I can recall is you reached out to me, and then when I pulled up on you, let me know you had aspirations. You kind of let me know you had aspirations. I didn't know nothing but Count Capone, introduced. I think you had the same exact backdrop back then too.
That was crazy. I got the idea for this backdrop from the place we did it at.
Okay.
They just had bricks. They had a brick wall.
Oh, that's okay. So, okay. Similar to how the black box became black box, it was random. However, I watched you grow for quite some time, bro, and I had not realized that was your second stretch at being a content creator, interviewer. I thought that was your very beginning, but I realized on your second chapter of this journey, I believe I was either your first or amongst your first interviews, correct?
Yeah, it was the first interview I did when I came back.
Cam Capone on the map, man. I remember that day. You kind of told me what you had your eyes on. I just want to let you know, salute. Because I see you've been about what you said you was going to be about, bro.
You know what's crazy? Is when I first started, I really was just trying to get my feet wet. Like, I wasn't really trying to go all in, but it just became like such a snowball effect. And it just kept growing and growing, and it just took off.
What was your initial interest into hip hop or the culture as far as being a creator? You said you was a DJ or engineer, because how did you expand so quick from having a couple of local LA guys to the whole Chicago scene? Anybody that matter I've seen has been on your platform. How did that happen?
Well, I mean, those are kind of two different questions. So, I mean, as far as like, I used to rap.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, I mean, I always loved hip hop. And when I started doing this, nobody was really doing it on the West Coast. And a lot of the West Coast at the time, if you remember, it was like everybody was split. You had Chicano rap, you had old school, new school, up north. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was just kind of split. So I just kind of just wanted to be a platform for everybody to just, be able to come do interviews. Because, World Star was real big, but they did a lot of the South. This is 50. You know what I'm saying? They did a lot of East Coast. Like, I see East Coast dudes there all the time, man. I'd be like, man, can't no West Coast dudes get no love. So, my initial, that was my initial motivation for Cam Capone News. I just wanted to do it for the West Coast.
That's deep, because it's almost been a decade. No matter how random our meetings are, I've never seen you outside of Laker or Dodger or a Raider shit. That's all you're aware of.
Really?
Is that
I
your
probably did, yeah. Okay,
yes, if I have to picture what I think I'm going to encounter when I get here, it's the same thing, a different version of the same shit, bro, every time.
Oh, shit.
That's West Coast for real.
Okay. Yeah, and the first time I linked up with Tay was like right after I came back. I'd always with the drill shit. So I did Tay Capone, Tay 600 at the time. And I was just flipping through, and I seen in his story, like, oh, I'm about to be on LA. This is before I was doing it virtually. Shit, I just sent him a message like, yo, what's up? You want to do an interview while you're out here? And shit, his interview, shit, I don't know.
I'll say that since you mentioned virtually, just a slight bit of flowers for you, props. Dude is very efficient and he gets the job done. I can recall coming to do Count Capone interviews, one of the first times I ever experienced being in the studio, dealing with a camera crew, everything's on set, ready to go, and that person actually interviewing me is talking to me on FaceTime. Like, oh my mama, you get it done regardless. But now that you have this actual studio, the last 3 or 4 times we worked, it's been here. But I can recall when we had appointments, you would give me an address, I get there, you wouldn't be there, a crew would be there, and it was time to have questions, I'd be talking to you on FaceTime, we'll do the interview, and when you actually watch it, nobody has a clue that you weren't actually there in the place.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, the things you can do nowadays is pretty dope.
When I think about expanding and reaching out to people out of town, I'd be thinking about calling you and asking you, so what do you do? Do you locate a cameraman out of town first and then, or do you get the guy that you want to interview and then how do you?
Well, I mean, at this point, you know, like I pretty much got people I fuck with in like every city. But yeah, if it's a new city, I mean, you know, usually I get to interview first because you can always find a cameraman, you know, so that's, you know, get the interview, then I find a cameraman. But, you know, like, yeah.
So
like
how do you brand this every time? You deal with the cameraman on some way of getting this?
If you see this, they're here.
They're here.
Yeah,
so
if you see anything besides
like
that.
the studio boards and all that, that's elsewhere.
Yep.
Okay, so tell me this. Would you be offended if you start seeing a black box creating similar content? I'm letting you
similar content.
Because I've learned from Neighborhood Nip the Crip, rest in peace, that the greatest form of flattery is to imitate. I like that. I want to create, expand, and do interviews, not on location, just like you do. And I mean, not as right now, I got it from Cam, so ain't nobody tell me I'm biting a copy. Would you be offended if
nah.
They're coming. This is a joking way to let me know I'm finna be doing the same thing, that's all. You know, my network is quite vast, and then trying to get in touch and keep in touch with people out of town, always not smooth. So watching your style, I've learned some things.
Oh, okay. That's what's up, man. Thank you, for sure. Yeah, man, I mean, you know, there's a lot of people doing it nowadays. It's a lot of competition.
Definitely, especially compared to 7 years ago when we started working together. The game has changed. It's way more saturated. And a lot of people might find that more intimidating, but I feel like it makes me more comfortable. There's a lot more being accepted. You know, it's a lot more to appreciate. I just don't mind being amongst those being appreciated. Don't have to be at the top, the bottom, anywhere. Just being amongst those being appreciated to a capacity of, I'm satisfied. I don't care how many people dislike what I do.
Yeah, you gotta have thick skin. I mean, that's just, I mean, it's gonna come with it, man. I mean, especially if you start to blow up and do numbers, people are just gonna say horrible things about you.
It's gonna happen.
You're in hip hop, bro. I mean, you gotta think, bro. These interviews, I feel like, are like the new version of battle rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I said it.
Like, I know people aren't seeing it like that, and they're still thinking, oh, it's people. They're really talking to each other. But nah, bro, this is like the new version of battle rap.
Often when my peers holler at me and try to like coach, advise me, or pull my coats on certain stuff, and they think I'm not really aware of what I'm doing or how things look, I always remind them, bro, y'all seeing these exchanges on the internet, but I come from battle rap. I am Mr. Bangadocious. Shout out to the game, Black Wall Street. There is a series of mixtapes called Bangadocious. I do this. What they've done is simplified it because you no longer have to stay on beat, nor do you have to rhyme. And we still have a microphone, and we're talking shit, character, attacking, trading, insults. I do this extremely well. I have matured beyond doing it for fun all the time, and it's easy to just get into that mode. But when I decide to go there, if you know, Game is making media runs now, and I appreciate it. Shout out Magic from 88th Street, Avalon. Because of Magic, me and Game have mended what looked like an unmendable relationship over 15 years. However, in the spirit of hip hop and being factual and accurate on the record about history, me and Game have been through a competitive experience to where I was victorious. But you know, Game is in this position where he doesn't really like to admit a lot of what I would love. Game, I see you on back on Fig. Shout out T-Rail Smack. Pull up to the Black Box, bro. Let's talk about some of this Day Uno, K-Dot, Top Dog, influence, support conversation, bro. I remember some things, bro. Yeah. That's where I came from. Like, I understand, like, even a lot of my loved ones, they might be more offended by something they heard said about me than I am personally. They respect me. They know who I am. They know what I represent, what I'm about. And when they hear somebody say something contrary to that, they get so pumped up and offended, not realizing I'm anticipating this. I cannot be a part of URL or anything like that. Shout out to Geechee Gotti, Rum Nitty, my niggas. I could not stand in the face and allow somebody to use their breath and their spit and their energy to disrespect me. However, I've been accustomed to being way over here in the booth on the mic, you're way over there, and we're going to exchange insults. I'm used to that. It's just a new version of it, like you said. But a lot of people don't correlate the two. They seem so different, and they overreact when they see me involved.
Okay.
But even back then, when I got involved in those type, I got lyrics that say these niggas want to challenge a chief, but when I get involved, they call a battle of beef. It's like people get scared when I play, like I'm the handicapped, retarded kid that play too rough, that don't know how to. The game over when I come. I'm too clumsy. You getting elbowed. I'm gonna foul you hard. It's no more. It's never fun when I come, bro. Don't nobody want to play no more.
Spider goes a little too hard.
Always, yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, you know, man, what I've been seeing going down on the internet lately, man, the biggest thing, and you know, it was some pretty disrespectful stuff going on. You know, this is that Adam 22 and Munchie B going at it, and I believe Munchie B has said he don't want to be on No Jumper anymore, and you know, Adam 22 kicked his chair, which everybody is making a really, really big deal about. You know, Munchie B had his hands all over Adam. You know, Adam's telling him shut the F up. It looked like internet stuff, but it did look like some really disrespectful stuff going on, man. What was your take on that?
Well, my take is rest in peace, Draco the Ruler, Stink Team, Adam's real friend. I believe Munchie B thought he had more of a rapport with Adam than he ever had. I can recall when Adam was not interested in entertaining Munchie B whatsoever.
Remember that?
Yes.
I wanted to interview Munchie B.
Thank you.
I interviewed Munchie B.
Thank you. I used to be at No Jumper soliciting. The appropriate way to use the word solicit, Munchie, not to incriminate someone. But anyway, I used to solicit interviews on Munchie's behalf with Adam. And he was like unsure if this is something he should explore based on his previous relationship with Draco the Ruler. However, let's go to the moment where the blind, bloody booty, truffle butter butt blood was violated by Vladim 22, the porn star. Shout out to Vladim, but he's the porn star that's willing to wear panties, allow another man to wear panties and sit on his lap and be photographed. Now the B team mayor, Crunch and Munch, peanut butter, truffle butter butt Buster B, who let the neighborhood Crips finger bang him in the county jail and make his G-spot squirt, or did it hurt? Did you wipe it off with your shirt? It don't matter, dig a grave and just cover yourself with dirt. But he let this, I watched it today in slow motion, shout out to Point and Shoot, the sheriff, because he did a great comprehensive recap. And he did not just push, shove, kick his chair with his foot. He did a push, double punt, long extended kick. He moved that dude with my referee's NFL precision. He moved that dude between 1.5 yards and 3 yards from where he was sitting with extreme velocity. If you choose to, put a clip of the actual kick right here where we're talking. Do you recall this same blind Buster Blood with the boil on his top lip on a podcast, extremely in her feelings behind BZ Santana, calling him cuz?
I remember that.
Can you compare mentally the reactions?
A lot of different reactions.
Do you realize he went on his podcast and said, I'm not going on a No Jumper rant hate campaign after he got marked out by Vladim, the panty wearing porn guy? But then I met Munching Crunch Peanut Butter Butt B in my DM in 2020 telling me, hey, I love what you're doing, champ. This is Munchie B, IFG. Keep pushing the same line. I support you. 2020. Since then, all I've done was be his babysitter, caregiver, helper, his eyes when he had none. I've been his transportation, his protection, and his provider, and his pusher. And this dude said he can't stand me and he hates me. How do you end up in my DM, swallowing D, upon introduction? I have the receipts. I'll send them so you can post them. You can put them right behind me, next to me right now. 2020, hey, champ, it's IFG, Munchie B. Love what you're doing, keep it up, keep pushing the line. The only thing happened between then and now is I looked out for Blood. And Blood said he hate me, but he don't hate Vladimir. Where do they make these dudes at, bro? Anybody listening to Munchie, Crunching Munch B, speak my name. Before we get to talking about who did what he think, what he like and don't like, ask him, what have I ever done to Cuz? Besides helping, he was helpless and harmless. And I was his protector, his caregiver, his babysitter. Shout big double up, one line OEC. Cuz, uncle, the really reason why he had action to come around me and work for free so often. I was able to run bands up on him off of Kickin' Cack being Bull. He was safe because he was my homie double up nephew. I didn't give a fuck about him. This a dude who I was trying to troll in Alex Alonso's building, on Facts of a Feeling, talking to my cousin, the G homie from Neighborhood 60s that just did 30 years, Big Ron Ron. I'm trying to troll Munchie Crunching Munch Butt B about the peanut butter, and Ron Ron shifted it. And it's all documented. Go look at the episode. I did mature and like, oh, you don't believe it? Me either. But if you go look how I brought Munchie B up, I was ready to go in and clown him like a regular neighborhood crook would. But the G homie mature, expressed respect and appreciation for Crunching Munch. And I follow suit. How the did he ever think I gave a about him after that? Like, I was at Street TV the entire time Street TV had been podcasting until Crunching Munchie B got there. There had been a picture of Nipsey Hussle overlooking every episode I did until Munchie got there. Yeah, I used to, Alex, you know, I didn't question Alex, teased him. He swore up and down. Remember, if you go look at the older days, he had a long wooden table. And guests used to sit on the opposite side of that wooden table before he got those yellow chairs. And then you might not remember, but when you think about this, you go watch it back, you go look and see. So the whole configuration of the setup changed. So I believe his response, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, he's saying when the long table was there, he had two photos opposite side of the table symmetrically that lined up. And when he changed to the two yellow chairs, that somehow the Nipsey picture was no longer symmetrically in line to where it fit with his decor. And that's why it's gone versus Munchie's there. I tend to think it has something to do with Alex feel like it'd be offensive to have the Keyway Christ looking down on a blind blood who can't see shit every time he up there running his mouth. I think Alex was trying to be considerate of that. He don't want to admit it or acknowledge it, but I think that had a lot to do with it. Because I brought it up so many times.
Was Nipsey the first one to put the rumor out about him?
I don't know if he's first,
back
but
in like 2010 or something like that?
Well, I would say yes if you want to talk about to the world, to social media. But Nipsey got it from somewhere because he was not there in jail. So the rumor was already buzzing in our streets, circles, and with the people that matter. However, Nipsey was the person with the mainstream visibility, access to make sure that those that weren't in the know knew that this was a rumor. Yeah. I won't say that Nipsey was the first one to put it out as far as, because when you say that, you're thinking from the internet audience perspective.
Right.
Yeah, we'll say that. Social media, yeah. However, it was already a stamp, understood in the street. Nipsey just happened to be blessed with the visibility to where the world could know the neighborhood Crips scored. Had he not been Nipsey, it would not perhaps been a big worldwide story. The streets would have known though.
Do you think Adam would have done this if Munchie wasn't disabled?
Hell no. Just think, Adam has to have upwards of 3,000-4,000 interviews recorded. Has he ever done this to anyone? Who else has he interviewed that was disabled?
They were just saying. I just seen somebody saying that he only calls out disabled people. And
I saw that's that point shoot. It's the same point shoot. He said that. I think it was the because he said him and he said was it T? No,
T-Rail, right? Yeah.
No,
right.
no, he didn't say that.
T-Rail,
He said his girl.
Munchie B.
And he said his girl and his daughter at home. He said talking about people that are he said yeah, I'm pretty sure Adam acts like this at home. This is people that are. So he mentioned his wife because he said him and Lena is falling out. But of course, we've never seen Adam within the perspective of alpha male challenge another man that's been a threat. We've never seen it. Well, I can't say that. Shout out to Vladim, because he challenged DW Flame.
Did he?
What? Anytime you tell a man in your presence he got bad bitch energy, that's a challenge. I'm not saying DW Flame reacted inappropriately. Not at all. He may have did the wise, mature, smartest thing he should have done. However, everyone's not that wise, smart, mature. And I'm one of them. I pray Camp Capone, Vladim, nobody that I work with in these places ever call me a bad bitch while I'm at their studio. I pray, Lord, Jesus Christ, heaven, Allah, everybody, please don't let nobody talk to me like that. Please.
Now, one thing I just always wondered, like, you used to be on street TV a lot. Is there a reason why you're not over there anymore?
Well, when Munchie B went on his platform with Tiny Munchie, allowing to do it on a backyard, even though I know this backyard shit might gonna be over with the next 10 years. The new generation is not gonna keep that up. But at the time, shout out to J Hood, anyway, it was reported a guy who was generally accepted amongst the reals that he was on a backyard, he was no good. My co-host at Kickin' Cack Being Bull felt it was cool to be on his platform, announcing that through his homie Tiny Munchie, who on the yard with a lot of my lokes right now, shout out to Tiny Munchie, I've spoken to him. He was comfortable allowing him to announce on his platform that somebody, J Hood in particular, but anybody went 50-0 against the East Coast Crips. I didn't have to ask nobody, talk to nobody. I didn't believe it the moment I heard it. However, this is my co-host. We debate issues daily, all the time. I thought it was another issue just to debate. I got J Hood to come on my platform, admit that it was an exaggeration. Tiny Munchie came on my platform, admit that it was exaggeration. Just like Auntie Jefe got in her feelings when I corrected her about Foley being stabbed. That was too much for Crunching Munch to take. Like I told you, he hopped in my DM riding dick, telling me he loves the line I'm pushing, encouraging me to continue pushing it. In between then, I was his caregiver, his helper, his eyes when he had none. That's it. And now he hates me. And it all started with, I don't believe J Hood went 50-0 against the East Coasters. I believe that's an exaggeration. I'm not saying he didn't do his stuff. I'm not saying he didn't got more W's than he got L's. I'm not even saying he was undefeated. But I don't believe it's 50-0. That's all I said. And niggas got panties. They put panties on. Even though everyone from J Hood to Tiny Munchie involved in telling this story has all, Auntie Jefe brought J Hood, little homie, on his platform with a paper with names written down, trying to prove he can have 50 names and it was not 50 names, bro. But this is what they in their feelings about me saying, hey, you're speaking on my homies incorrectly. Even though I had Auntie Jefe on the black box, giving Monster Cody all the keyway props we can give him. Gave him everything we could give him without mentioning all the bullshit. Purposely. It's not my job to put your G homie on blast that wrote this book that all the out-of-towners. I got Auntie Jefe on my content, on my platform. I'm gonna respect what you respect for the world. Never gonna tell the truth on your G homie or all that foul bullshit shit. But then he had a habit of getting on his platform, speaking on my homies, not only negative, but dishonestly negative. He has this story in his mind where recently somebody that's a red rag got violated like Munchie, and they wrecked him in the county jail. And for some reason, he felt like he needed to announce on the internet that in retaliation, a similar incident happened to someone from East Coast. Not just myself, but everybody I know from East Coast. We search high, low, in the system, out the system, this street, that block. We want to know who from East Coast this happened to. The person does not exist. However, Auntie Jefe is comfortable having his platform out there stating a member of the East Coast Crips got violated just like Munchie B in his rectum in the county jail a few months ago. He's never corrected that. Then he's also come on his platform and tried to push this 50-0. Hey, no big deal. Hey, all I'm gonna do is come on here and say this. If you're gonna do that, I could tell the truth about your G homie Monster Cody, who was sucking, smoking dope, wearing dresses downtown LA the day he died. These are things I never chose to say out of respect for you as a Keyway on these platforms. But now you want to get on these platforms as kindred, friendly to me, and then lie on my homies? All right, you're going to lie on me, tell the truth on you. So if you didn't know Monster Cody was smoking dope, sucking, wearing dresses downtown LA, now you know.
I did not know that.
Now you know.
Or hear that.
Now you know, for Def Doe Gang. And I chose to interview Auntie Jefe on the Black Box, speak about Monster Cody, all his accomplishments, everything that we can respect. I left all that out. And every opportunity he get, he on the internet trying to report something negative about my loved ones from the E-double. Imagine that. Yo, bad. I might have got you a Cam Capone interview, Auntie.
Man, okay. You and Aunt Jefe been having some issues then for
Auntie Jefe has an issue with me. You remember, if you look for the last 7 months, what happened was around February 13th, 2025, a lot of things was happening with my name, and I kind of readjusted my approach to the internet based on, it looked like because of what I was going through with my peers or the people on the internet. However, I have a 77 and a 75-year-old mother and father who's never been on social media until COVID. And now they're familiar with Facebook and YouTube. And they happen to see everything related with me. So when it looked like I fell back because the whole internet sector was against me, it was really because of appeals from my parents of what they saw and what they thought. I knew I had to. I'll be 50 in a couple weeks. So this is a few months ago, almost a year ago. I knew in my mind, in my life, I have no business with my senior parents having to tell me certain things. I have to balance that with being Spider-Loc and everything I'm doing. So, but the most important thing to me is, while they're still alive, is how my parents view me in the face of the public. So I chose for 7 months, along with Crunching Munch But telling me, hey, Spider, let's stop trolling, texting. I'll show you the screenshot. Let's play ball. So I stayed silent, not only about him, but I stopped trolling for 7 months. If you go look on my channel, from February 13th until recently, I was talking about birds, space, politics, getting 0 views, putting out 10 videos a day, not caring. That's what I was doing. It's obvious. It's all documented. And then what happened was, one of my homies, that's a neighborhood Crip, happened to be on the same yard as Foleaf. I also, if you look on YouTube, any video you'll see 3 dots in the top right corner. If you touch those 3 dots, you'll get some options. And one of the options is, don't recommend this channel. I pushed that option for every channel in our sector. So the reason why I was capable for those 7 months to make that type of content that had nothing to do with none of us is because I had blocked everybody. I didn't even see their feeds. So what happened was, one of my homies on the same yard with Foley said, SBI, I'm finna put you on. You finna be in the game. Auntie Jefe wrong again. And he out here saying Foley, like, cause I'm looking at Foley right now. He ain't got stabbed, boo, 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 boo. I basically said, got you, neighborhood. Hey, Auntie Jefe, you got it wrong. You're wrong again. Foley didn't get stabbed. And it turned into all this. That's all I did.
For the people who don't know, who's Four Leaf?
Four Leaf the low. He the same guy that gets credit for finger banging Munchie B on his G-spot in the county jail. I'm not saying he did it, but that's who everybody get credit to. He the nigga, you could go look his name up on the internet. They got him in the county jail, outnumbered 6, 7, 8 to 1. Ops, back against the wall, trying to flinch at him. And he a low. That's all I'm gonna say. He a low.
Big dude from the 40s.
He a low. He from the 40s, neighborhood. 4-leaf, he a general.
Is he coming home anytime soon?
We pray all the keyways come home.
Okay. I mean, then you can.
Give me some more.
A lot of times, he have
Keep
a lot
going.
of time going? Or?
Yes, he has a lot of time. Very serious issues. And if we just said regular, the white folks already said he ain't coming home yet. But we praying. It's like Big Spider though, my brother. They said he ain't. We got a lot of they said ain't coming home. Is home. Spotty from 9-0. You know what I'm talking about? My homie Lil Rockadon from 11A East Coast had life. I know a lot of four extras had life. Neighborhood off the bat. Yeah. So we praying and believing and hoping on a lot of shit.
Now, you've been in the game a long time. So you've been around, Snoop and Daz and 50 and, a lot of the old school dudes, Suge and everybody. Did you see Daz going at Snoop?
I saw all the headlines and titles, never clicked on one bit of the content because I've seen this before. Over 20 years ago, they're actually cousins and they've gone through this multiple times. I'm unentertained. I'm uninterested. They've been through this. They're not gonna touch each other, they're not gonna hurt each other. I don't even believe they're gonna file any of these papers they're talking about.
Daz he hinted that he might be making a documentary about Snoop and his just the way he is and the slimy things that he allegedly does, and he might be looking at Netflix for this documentary.
Well, I listened to a video on my way here, and it was somebody claiming to have been victimized by Snoop Dogg, and I guess it's a part 1, 2, and 3 because as soon as it got good, about an hour and a half in, those who know where I am, coming from LA, y'all know how long it take. It was like over with, and I wait for part 2. But there are some people saying that it's a female coming out saying some real allegations about Snoop. So,
those type of allegations.
Yeah, like some like.
I was just talking about.
No, this is P. Diddy, R. Kelly-ish type, not just straight but it's that type of. I was at a video. He told me my husband wasn't welcome. I drove my husband home an hour against my better will, took him back. Oh, I felt stupid because nobody was there, but I kept in touch with Terrence Martin. And yeah, she got a whole something story that she's bringing about how she was an up-and-coming artist trying to work, and then they was trying to work. It's her story. I'm not, but it's imagine, you Snoop Dogg, Selena Powell has exposed him as being a married man, doing powder off her body, can't get hard. She got video. Come on, Snoop. I mean, it's being exposed is one thing. Acknowledging is another. If I never heard anything about Snoop, never thought nothing, if I had to just use my intelligence to think what he has access to and what he has experienced, it'd probably be a bit of everything at all times. Let alone rainbow. I'm not gonna put the rainbow on him like I would assume that, other than I've seen him wear a French tip. I've seen him celebrate the rainbow community extremely on his page. Way back when I first started getting real familiar with
just recently, right, he got mad about his grandkids being at the movie theater and having to see some rainbow activity. And then, a week or so later, he backtracked.
It was so quick after, I think the anger was a play. I think it was all a setup, a rollout. To have, what was it called? Doggy Land, as they calling it. And that was, he had the cartoon, the animated series.
Oh, he did, right.
To have all that ready to be produced in production in response to that moment, it kind of feels like a rollout. And I know, shout out Wacko, Westside Paru, I know Wacko has been working on an animation project with Snoop Dogg for some years. I hope it ain't Doggy Land Wacko. Come on, I don't give a with Snoopy rat ass, free TC, Eastside 8897. He talking about, holding 100 talking about, but Wacko, is that the animated project you've been telling me about? The Doggy Land where they promoting the, I think that was a rollout, Cam. Snoop is bigger than everybody we've ever discussed on any of these platforms when it comes world-wise, concept-wise, influential-wise. He's compromised, definitely. So, come on. Who would not? And this is my knee. I don't slap my thigh like these whole ass niggas. That was my knee. I don't slap my thigh. That's bitch shit. When you on there talking, keeping your rhythm by slapping your thigh, that's whole shit. Hold on, honey, quit doing it. But yeah, Snoop is so transcended. He's more acceptable than Martha Stewart.
Man, Snoop is just so big. It's
yes.
crazy.
I've been giving up on politicking publicly, this, that, trying to hold Snoop to the standard that we hold everybody else to. Even the most keyways of Crips don't want to hear none of that. If they kicking it and this, play some Snoop. If you a keyway for sure, the rest of the world too. But I don't care how G of a Crip you is, you love some Snoop music. He did that. He put on, even though it was cartoonish, it was clownish. When he chose to step out as a Crip, he just did it so crippy. He did so much shit so crippy. We know he big. We know he got more access. We give him a pass for so much just to see when he get crippy. When he get crippy, we at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they did it at the Super
What?
Bowl.
How do you not love that for an old ass icon that's supposed to be on Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, Eminem level to do that? As a Crip, you gotta love it, bro. Even if it's a million things about Snoop you don't appreciate, when he do that, cuz Crippin' is immature, bro. It taps into the child in you, even at 50. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. And when I see Snoop Dogg, see walking at the Super Bowl, cuz Keyway Nation. I can't do nothing but say my machine in motion. Rest in peace, Tookie. Rest in peace, Raymond.
Man, you know, let me know if I'm wrong here, man. So I don't want to give all the details of this shit away, but I got a Instagram message probably like 2.5 years ago from somebody around, you could say around Snoop, who had a story that I felt would have made Snoop look up.
Was it Swoop G?
No. And you know, kind of like Snoop stole some shit that if he got caught stealing would just make him look like a really horrible person.
If it ain't no fun,
and I didn't put it out.
If it ain't no fun,
I didn't do the interview just out of respect, because I got so much respect.
If it ain't no fun, if the homies ain't got none, everybody know about that.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, ain't no fun that the homies can't have. Hit. It's a hit record. Snoop Dogg, Dog Pound.
Yeah.
There's a legend, a story with some Red Rag song, and Snoop kind of like took that song from him. I think they Alex Alonso homies. I could be wrong, but I believe it was. Yeah, that song was a song that allegedly Snoop and them like knew from a demo and then flipped it to a hit without compensation. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. That happens a lot in the music
It does.
business.
As much as I want to be on the artist side, I gotta let y'all know it happens. I've been on the other side, and I'm gonna tell you, be careful, because you can't forget what you heard. You'll never forget nothing you heard. So this whole world is look, none of us outside of E40, very few create words. We all grab our vocabulary from words we heard. And no matter how you put them words together, sentences, phrases, thoughts, be careful, because you can't forget what you heard. And if they beat you to it, they beat you to it, bro. I've been a victim of that tons of times. And I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, you know what? So look, when I was rapping, I did a song called California IE. Right? Okay, and then
the IE, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I let this producer listen to the CD, and he was giving beats to Sly Boogie. Mm-hmm. And he says, yo, can I keep this CD?
Sly Boogie, man.
I said,
wherever you at, fool.
Yeah, sure, you can keep it, man. It's just a CD, only had like 3 songs on it. Man, I swear, bro, like 2-3 weeks later, Sly Boogie dropped that song, California IE.
I remember that song.
I was like, oh,
I swear, you have a story that you might as well put in your pocket with the other million. I have an uncle that went to the feds and swore up and down somebody stole his property. He's in his 70s, late 60s, and Smokey Robinson ended up recording his music. It's my Uncle Junebug from the hood, burnt out, but he swore up and down. Smokey Robinson has recorded his music, bro, because somebody heard his demo. You can't tell Junebug. Am I lying, Daddy? You cannot tell Junebug Smokey Robinson is still his record. But I've seen this happen recently, as much as Lefty Gunplay being on the Kendrick record. It's a nigga from neighborhood. I can't remember exactly what neighborhood he from, but he ended up in my DM showing me his receipts of how them 4 bars are not Lefty Gunplay bars.
So was he on Kendrick's album, or he just did
No, this is just who Lefty Gunplay and his label stayed in his stories and his views. He's had music on there, tons of different music, and out of nowhere, Lefty Gunplay ends up on Kendrick's shit doing a version of his shit. And when he goes to question the people from this page that have been supporting him, they block him. I've had him on the black box. I just can't think of his name. My bad, Hood. Neighborhood to neighborhood. You already know. He already came and told his whole story. We've played both clips close. If you look at everything Lefty Gunplay has done for Kendrick to grab those 4 bars, and for this dude to have his story, and for nothing else Lefty Gunplay has ever done to be monumental, memorable, it makes a lot of sense, bro. I think Kendrick was clueless because, from my understanding, Lefty went in there and did. Nobody in session to do.
Lefty did a few different songs with Kendrick.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But
what I'm trying to tell you is he stole 4 bars that came from and those are the 4 that Kendrick kept without even knowing. These are the only 4 bars you really didn't create. You came here and spit 30, 60, 40 bars, whatever. Let me see how I can show you love. What can I keep? He kept the 4 bars he stole from a neighborhood crib. I'm finna look on my channel and try to get his name real quick. It's hard for me to even think of who the guy named, but I know he's from neighborhood, he's from LA. He got a whole story behind it, bro. He like, yeah, Lefty Gunplay, his whole label used to be in my stories all the time. And then I heard the shit. I sent my version to them. They sent it to me, and they blocked him. As soon as he sent them his question about, hey, this sound like my shit, they blocked him, bro. And these people that's been in his DM, liking shit, supporting him, telling him to keep it up, then that happened, and then they blocked him, bro. I'm not finna.
You know, the thing is, though, he should be able to sue. Because he should have, like when you record something on Pro Tools or the other programs, like you get like a timestamp on it.
Let me tell you something, bro. As much as that is true, do you know how much money is left on the table amongst my people in this industry who really don't? You hear me? It's a lot of money. I just seen.
That's a Grammy award-winning or nominated song, bro.
Who?
I mean, that lawsuit is worth $1 million or $2 million at least.
Okay, if that's the case, then tell me this. I want you to tell me I'm stupid for not have launched this lawsuit already.
I mean, shit, I think Daz is going to sue Jay-Z over that, if you ain't up on things.
No, I just heard T-Pain. They said, I heard you didn't make no money off of one of his major hit song. Which one was it? And that nigga say, yeah, I didn't make no money because my first line was, he said, all I said was, money in the bank. Money in the bank. What song is that? T-Pain?
Shorty, what you think? Yeah.
He said, once he said that, Scrappy tapped in because of money in the bank. Shorty, what you think? Then it's another word he used in that song, don't sound nothing like it, but Lil Jon said this phrase before. To the point where he made according to T-Pain, he made no money off that record just for Reese. And you remember Drake using Drew Down shit. How he flipped that verse.
Who did? Drake?
Drake.
Oh, I thought that was, I think that you're talking about Rappin' Forte.
He flipped Rappin' Forte verse.
Yeah, the song with YG.
He had to pay. So
yeah.
There's something to it. But I'm telling you, okay, we can tell Drake really flipped his verse. Even though it was out of homage, we can understand why somebody like Forte, I know Forte, shout out to Forte, T.Y. for Show Records. I can understand why Forte like, ooh, but you would not really expect that from, well, now I know really, yeah, I guess Lil Jon, but T-Pain, that big record, he got no money because he said, money in the bank. And I can't think of what
that was the hook though, right?
But think about the cadence. It reminds me of nothing of the Little Scrappy record.
Yeah.
That's almost as generic as I'm a gangster in hip hop. Huh? So if somebody says I'm a gangster on the hook, I can't say I'm a gangster. That's almost how the money in the bank. I couldn't believe it. But I've heard T-Pain on a recent podcast. Somebody asked him about it, and this is his explanation. Lil Jon came from that record, and Shorty, I mean, the money in the bank example, I can relate to that more than I can recall whatever the Lil Jon example was even more ridiculous. I'm like, what? Which one was it? It was something so simple. Oh, God. But this is why people stay away from samples as much as they can. If you can.
Music in general is just so technical that it's like, I mean, you got to go through so much. I mean, you got the producer, the this, and now even people who film music videos want a piece of the money. Like, it's crazy.
I think that's the colonization and the corporatization, and I don't know if corporatization is a word, but corporate, making things corporate and put them into the capitalist system, that's what happens. It's all about, everything we've created is about how much value is within what we've created and how many people can eat off of it. Everybody that's interested is interested in how much they can get off of it. So you create a thing, how much is it worth, and how many people find themselves and get off of it. And once it's over, it's over. That's what everything is within this society. Let's build up something that is financially valuable or viable. And then there's people that attract to it to suck as much value out of it as they can. And then we're on to the next thing. What else are we doing?
I hear that, man. You know, I just never understood like why producers would get half the money on the publishing side.
I didn't understand it back in the day, but I get it now. How many people love a song and can't repeat more than 2 or 3 words in a verse? The beat and the hook is what makes a record. As much as us MCs thought that we were what it was, you see how music changed into the chant and the hook repeated. It's because nobody really goes to party or go listen to music to hear somebody get intricate with a bunch of words. And that's why R&B and country, you're singing, you're stretching out words over bars. There are very few words over a rhythmatic amount of melodic instruments. With rap, you started crushing a bunch of words, deep thoughts. That ain't what music has never been that. Whether it's gospel, country, rock and roll, there's a few words accenting awesome display of instrumental music. That's what music is. Rap flipped it. Give me a simple break beat. Now I got a whole lot to say. That's new, bro. So I think that kind of played out as an era, and people are back to enjoying music for what they've always enjoyed it for. A beat, a nice hook, a good time. If you can sneak a few words in and my head up, cool, but that's not what people listen to songs for, never have.
Right, it's a vibe.
That's it. And
more than the thing. That's why the backpack dudes never really did good. 'Cause you gotta have a dictionary just to listen to the music. No disrespect to the backpack
I'm a
dudes,
backpack dude, I get it.
with the backpack
Me too.
dudes, and I like it, but I'm probably an exception more than the rule.
We are exceptions, because I understand what makes Crooked Eye, Lloyd Banks, other people great. But I know that doesn't necessarily translate. I've always had to balance between being my best Crooked Eye, my best Lloyd Banks, or my best Tupac, Ice Cube. But see, Ice Cube is the best example because he has the intellect of a Lloyd Banks or Crooked Eye, but he never overcomplicated with the vocabulary. He knew how to keep it simple to just articulate our experience. Ice Cube was the best person to make you feel like he watched everything happen and he just told you in a perfect way what happened. And that's what I always appreciated him for. But there are people like Crooked Eye, who I consider a nerd, respectfully, who can do things lyrically, schematically, when it comes to metaphors and rhyme patterns and syllables that, 50 Cent, one of the biggest rappers in the world. 50 Cent can't out-rap me, Crooked Eye, Lloyd Banks, Game, a million people. So coming to the game as a youngster, sprung on your skills and all that, and thinking that's what's gonna take it through, and then finding out that's not really the bottom line. Game is still struggling with it. He's still running around saying, I'm the best rapper. Nobody cares. Whether that's just a figment of your imagination or if it's factually true, the biggest rappers are not the best rappers. These niggas that's humming, singing, harmonizing. If you want to go prove that you're the best rapper, you need to be in off camera, go to these underground boroughs where they still doing it and go prove it there, because hip hop is dead to the extent of who cares who's the best rapper. You may be 100% right, except for the fact that best rapper in Compton gang we met battling, bro, for DMX. You lost, self-admittedly. The way the battle ended was you saying, damn, you can't beat that ghetto. Now, I don't know if you're saying that you got so much better since then that you're the best in Compton, because I was born in Compton. You know that. We've hung in Compton. The only place we ever hung was in Compton. Then also, we have a thing where you did a record called Body Bags. I responded with a record called Toe Tags. I remember when I responded.
Body Bags was about you?
I was mentioned. And I responded with Toe Tags within 24 hours. And Top Dog, TDE, shout out to the whole camp, J-Rock, K-Dot. Top Dog called me and said, yo, don't do another diss record. I was in the studio when he heard that record. You got him. It's over. Anything else would be overkill. Guess what I did, Count Capone? I went in the booth and did a record called Overkill. So, you know, me and Gang spoke recently in recent years. Me, him, Magic from Avalon, Suge from Avalon, my big homie Spider, and we buried the hatchet on whatever we consider bullshit. But in that small period of time, I told him, bro, you got me because you had the budget, but you know I got you with the bars on the battle. And of course, we both more mature than to have to argue, debate it. But at that moment, he didn't disagree. I think anybody who was tuned in to the Bangladesh series, went through, no disrespect, but when I was calling him Doja and all that, everything that was laid out, I think it's obvious who won that battle. Outside, he had more exposure. And he knows, if he's honest, when we met, we battled, and he know I beat him. So when he comes out with this now getting his whatever new wave of campaigns on, and certain subjects come up, I just wonder how genuine and honest certain people are trying to be when my name don't come up, especially when you're talking about K-Dot and J-Rock and Top Dog Entertainment, day one, who did what, where was what, how do you even have this conversation, 2 T's now, and my name don't come out? That is just crazy to me. I hate to toot my own horn, beat my chest, but if I really chose to be factual and explain my implication in that time frame, bro, it's like, I can't believe it. I can't believe my name don't come up in certain conversations. Come on, 2 T's, Top Dog, y'all know. Remember, Top Dog, you remember it was a common thing between us where you were extremely appreciative of me using my exposure to shout out K-Dot and J-Rock and Top Dog Entertainment because Game had more exposure than me. He was going on all the same platforms, K-Day, Power 106, and he was not mentioning y'all. Remember Top? He used to be like, man, you don't remember? So I'm not trying to start another thing, but I just be like, I be hearing certain conversations. I be like, damn, I remember when Top Dog was extremely disappointed in Game for having a lot of exposure and not being vocal with promote what he had going on, even though him and Game had a relationship in the back end, which dictated he should have done that, and he was disappointed. However, within that same period of time, he was extremely appreciative how I did the opposite. I don't know how more I could keep it. Just that plain and clean. Keyway Christ, love you, cuz. You around and skipped a whole lot of stages, cuz, and got, you feel me? You did the perfect blend of mixing this Keyway shit with this industry shit. Neighborhood, cuz. TMC, though, you see what I'm out here doing? It continues, cuz. This is, you see, if you have a bottle of Hennessy, even if it's almost depleted, the bottle shouldn't look all shadowy, musty, like you've had the same bottle for 3. You see how this bottle still looks newly purchased and clear and crispy? This is how a almost fully drinking fifth of Hennessy should look. I know a few drunk tricks too, you see that? But I could see it and still dropped it. Cuz couldn't see the and couldn't drop the bottle. That fell way over here. That just, then when he was in this black box with Ringy Low, you seen him like legs in the air, legs open, missionary style, and he still didn't drop the bottle. Shout out to the big T with that big old boy busting on the top of his lip. Cal Capone, what's happening?
What up, man? So, one thing that's been going crazy that I definitely wanted to get your take on was Krishan Rock did a 20-verse one. Now, in this 20-verse one, there was a Crip dude there, and she said the extremely disrespectful C word towards the Crips. And dude was like, you lucky, because if I see you outside of here, it might be something. But I think he didn't. I think he just didn't want to beat up a female or do nothing stupid
Of
on
course.
camera. And people have long memories, but and what crazy? Not too long after that, she's in Compton at a parade,
Lock,
which is probably not the place you want to be 2 weeks after you disrespect the Crips.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they're having a conversation about what she says. Some guys kind of talking to her. The female's recording it. Krishan didn't like she was being recorded. Tried to grab the phone. Bap! Krishan gets hit, and it goes down. Krishan gets jumped or beat up one-on-one, depending on who you ask.
Well, my perspective on the overall situation is, man, I'm very familiar with that situation, that section, Wilson Park, everything involved. Now, this was a Christmas parade, right? There's been a historical Compton Martin Luther King parade that everybody from Compton know that Tanner's is coming tripping. If you're not Tanner friendly, be careful coming to the Martin Luther King parade. And now, of course, we know gangbanging in general, especially Crippin' and Blood, and just because of demographics and numbers, it's changed in our core communities. However, I believe Krishan had no idea she was in one of the most original, treacherous trenches as far as Compton Crippin' is concerned. I think her being way over there with the schoolyards, and then her Damu dude is, where he from? He from the West too. So, PBS.
Yeah,
so I think she got you could be in the PBS and the schoolyards and be in Beverly Hills in 5 minutes. And I think she kind of got it like misconstrued and shit is different. I think she thought she was way over here. I think she probably looked at Blueface and like, oh, you these bougie Crips. I'm over here with the real Crips. They not connected or tripping on none of that. I don't think she even knew the V first one was from Neighborhood 90s and he was just being nice and cordial. Shout out to you, young, for not crashing, coming out your character and letting that bunk ass bitch from Baltimore make you play yourself. I salute you for laughing at her because it's never that serious. I even salute the homegirls from Santana for the way y'all got at her. Because y'all could have just walked up her and said, crap, boom, and got off. That ain't what they did. They basically tried to lace her, educate her on where she was wrong. And she was, oh, he's the king of the crab. Now, I didn't realize that was the name of his restaurant at the time. His restaurant. Yes. So that's like Munchie, not a regular crab. Him playing with them words, not being clear. Hey, people get misconceptions. So now you got a Baltimore bitch who really loved you, respected your crippin'. Probably one of the only people respected your crippin'. You got the song Snoop Dogg, real Crips. Maybe the younger ones, but I'm just saying, she respected your crippin', and you got her thinking it's okay to play with that crab word. And shout out to the homegirls from Lock Loquettes. They didn't just rush her about that word. They gave her plenty ample opportunity to hear where they was coming from and get an understanding. Krishan tried some Baltimore bully bullshit and did something aggressive with her arm. Oh, girl, that was not trying to trip. It was reflex. It wasn't like she... Get you in my park, in my hood. I'm trying to get at you about, correct you, how you disrespecting this crippin'. I'm trying to talk to you. You already got this attitude that make me want to get at you. Now you're going to do me like Adam did Munchie? That is your response. That's how you know Beezy saved your bitch ass. That's what the Tanners do. You put your hand, foot on a Tanner, that's what happens, Munchie. So Beezy only didn't over because you blind. You hear me? That's why you don't realize you pop all this shit, run around, think people is giving you passes because you can't see shit, you can't do shit, you can't hurt shit, you can't harm shit. All you can do is run your mouth and try to lie or expose every little secret that you think you know about somebody. Other than that, you are harmless. BD Santana, that's his set, bro. You see, these ladies was trying to be reasonable with Krishan the same way BZ Santana tried to be reasonable with Crunch and Munch, but hey, bro, you can cuz me. I'm not tripping. I'm gonna talk to you like that though. It's just how I talk. Has Crunchy, Crunch and Munch grab BZ like Krishan grabbed his homegirls? He would have got Tanner Crip too. But guess what? I'm here to acknowledge. Guess who done swallowed a gang of BZ dick? No Diddy. Since then, all on his nuts, best friend, had him on the platform. Crunch and Munch B. Buster B. The same nigga let 607 Hoover S remover. Same let Vladimir put hands and feet. You know what Vladimir really did that killed all this shit off? After all that, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. You know what Vladimir did? He rubbed Munchie on the back. Snoop pointed that out too.
Oh, did he?
What? After all that complaining, after all that arguing, after kicking him, there's footage of him taking his hand, telling me, "You're invading my space, my body, my choice." Vladimir rubs Munchie all on the back of his shoulder blades, just with them porn-infested palms, the same ones he touches his buddy with. He calls it Eiffel Tower. Tell him, Vladimir, explain what Eiffel Tower is. Vladimir has this thing where him and his buddy, they're both doing whatever they can, ramming up in vaginas, and right before they climax, butt naked in the punani, they like to touch hands and make an Eiffel Tower and kind of like mush their energy together and help each other climax. He calls it Eiffel Tower. He claims it his only acceptable gayest moment he's willing to experience as a non-gangster, black, open, progressive person who's not gay. He'll do that and feel gay. He'll do that, but he didn't want Munchie to touch him. Why? You realize, you said Munchie's been here, right?
Yes.
You notice, go look at the old footage, zoom in right here. He has skin color bumps on the top of his lip that never go anywhere. So my thing is this, we know Adam, whether he's prejudiced, I don't believe he's racist. I think racism, prejudice plays a part, especially at this time in our society, and everybody. Everybody wants their side to win. Everybody is taught or thinks preconceived ideas about the other side. And the people that are genuine and honest, we try to come to the table and figure out, hey, do those people deserve that? Or is that just bullshit? Does my buddy that's Mexican or white deserve that stereotype? That's how real people do it. Hey, that's what it is. So at this point, I believe Adam, of course, I think he has some type of superiority complex over blacks and even others, but I don't believe he hates them or is intentionally trying to harm them, demean them every chance. He's obviously attracted to them. He wants to have some type of camaraderie with them, even if he feels superior.
You know, you mentioned when Munchie B had that altercation with the dude who cussed him.
Beezy Santana, Easter deal, lock.
So how big of a deal is that? If Crips and Bloods are hanging around each other, it just seems like there's going to be a lot of those type of words that go around, and if you're not willing to accept it, it's just going to be tough.
That was Lil Mama Munchie. She was aware that a few of Beezy homies that I'm aware of, a female, another homie, maybe a few other, similar to me, had haters in his hood. And she, being Munchie, had been in touch with some of those haters for quite some time and had heard negative reports and was approaching Beezy from a perspective with a couple of his homies that was upset with him, who right now, who have told me, that's the homie, cuz that we were just going through something. That's not even, it ain't even like that no more. But he was under the influence of what these couple people felt and thought he could play this dude out of pocket, even with his homies. Because after that incident, he had me on the phone for quite some time with two people from Santana, male and female, trying to smut Beezy and tell me this, that, and the other. But at that time, they was bumping head with their homie. Now they've all gotten that together. Munchie's on the outside of that, but he was going off of that he had a comrade, a friend, a female, a person that who wasn't getting along with Beezy, who was giving him a certain perspective, and he was feeling like because of that, he could neglect all the respect that Beezy deserved just because he's from Santana Block, Compton Crib. Period. You're supposed to get him a certain way. Then you on a podcast, bro. You know what I mean? I cussed him 1,000 gazillion times. Before that, after that, even while that was going on, I was reminding him, I cuss you, and he kind of say, oh, we got a different relationship. Obviously, we don't. You see, if we had a different relationship, how did we get here? All I ever did was help you. But he got his feelings for the first time when I wouldn't take his side with the Beezy shit. I'm a Crip. I'm gonna cuss you every time it happens. Until you my loved one, and I feel like it irritates you, and then I might say my bad. Until then, everybody is cuz. Just like if you're from Hoover, everybody is Groove. That's what it is. If you don't like it, don't talk to me. Just like all my Damu people love me, I don't never think about it. Brush it off my shoulder. Only somebody insecure, in their feelings, incapable of really doing what we all do, like see what's going on, will overcompensate thinking, oh, the Crip can't cuz me. You'll never hear him do it again. You'll never hear him check another person behind it. And guess what? All he did was cry, scream, and complain. He didn't do nothing. And then, when the white boy kicked you with a double pump, triple stretch, long shove kick, you didn't do a thing but suck his and beg him to put you in a porno movie. You nasty, dusty, dirty, disgusting mother. It's I cut my liquor with water, so that's why you see this, but this is what I'm on. This is how your bottle supposed to look, Munchie. If your bottle was all cloudy and nasty other than this, it need to be gone, bro. It should be clear. No one should drink from a receptacle that looks like a gazillion hands have been on it.
You know, this whole Diddy documentary dropped. 50 Cent put it out. Did you have a chance to see it?
All 4 episodes.
What was your reaction to it?
Shocked that 50 wasted his time. The anticipation, what I expected, was so much more. If you were a gangster in the feds, running the streets, running the industry for a while, I would look at that like, that's like good looking. Yeah, you cry, but yeah, I'm Diddy, nigga. I don't see the real, after everything we already heard and been aware of, I don't see how that knocks Diddy or hurts him at all. There was no new news, no nothing. He basically documented a little nerdy, Poindexter-looking black kid that rose to take over the game and got involved in a whole bunch of gangster shit along the way, broke some laws, did some things we may not agree with, but hey, we already knew that. I don't understand the point of the documentary. It really makes 50 look like a fan, somebody on Diddy dick. Man, I was around Misa, Diddy baby mama. So I know some of the back scene of what the motivation might be. Even if I wasn't aware, now I hear everybody talking about it. It's like, oh, I knew Misa, the wardrobe, her fine ass. Justin Mama's a sexy, fine motherfucker. I knew that was Diddy baby mama, but I didn't realize the I don't give a fuck who dick and pussy, not my issue. But when I look back, I remember when 50 had Diddy baby mama over there up under us, not really paying her no attention.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember all
now,
that.
Being around a lot, did you ever run into Diddy? I mean, not on no weirdo shit, but just
no,
on
the closest I've gotten to Diddy,
industry stuff.
The closest I can recall getting to Diddy was being a very familiar peer and comrade of Mace, and a few things Mace shared about Diddy, and there was also an individual. What's his name from Bad Boy? You know his name. 50 always, he was one of Puffy's close. He worked with Puffy close. He was part of Interscope, Violator. James Cruz.
Okay.
Because James Cruz worked for Puffy and then worked for 50, I've overheard a lot of shit. And because Mace was on G Unit, part of the time I was there, and 50 was trying to get a deal worked out between Mace, Puffy, I know some things that people who know Diddy claim to know.
Is there anything you could talk about?
Yeah, well, one thing I would love to say, shout out to Mace, it is what it is, Cam, y'all keep teasing Mace. Why you don't speak on this, bro? When you told us one day, Diddy told y'all, hey, you say, look, we're going to a party at such and such time, you can't wear no drawers. And I don't know why you don't speak on it, because you said you didn't go, Mace, so what's the big deal? You can't make this up. I can recall with all the shit you hear about Diddy, and I'm trying to think, do I know anything like this? I can remember Mace saying, you know this, Mace, Cam, put him on the spot, bro. I know you don't know me, but I know Mace enough to know this is one of them questions you could pull up. Yo, play this clip and ask me, who is son? Why is son saying this? Mace told us there was a time where Diddy came to the door and said, look, we're going to a party tonight, and such and such, can't wear no underwear. And Mace's story is he opted out on going. However, James Cruz used to be around, and it's been some time now, 20-some years, but a common energy, Buck could tell you, Banks could tell you, Yayo could tell you, Misa, anybody's around could tell you, 50 always was teasing James Cruz, threatening him about exposing what type of fruity shit you had going on with Diddy. That was just a theme of their relationship. Now, James Cruz is like Puerto Rican, skinny, non-black, non-gangster, had some type of influence in the industry, trying to be cool with 50 and his gangsterism. And imagine 50 just bullying him, talking shit to him, verbally kicking him in the ass whenever. And basically, he just marking him out. Every time I turn around, this is what I can recall. James Cruz basically doing 50 like this. Don't say nothing when 50 is teasing and talk about what you and Puffy used to be up to.
This was going on way back then?
Back then, I'm talking about being at Mr. Chow's. What's that, Chinese food? In Europe, nigga. 50 the type of nigga, you can be in Europe and go to Mr. Chow's. They got one, just like ours. Way over there, but you gotta be with certain to find it. And I remember being at the table and, 50 is a bully. You see him now. James Cruz was like his employee, kind of like. If you know the character James Cruz, there's no alpha in him. And then he had done a long stint with Puffy. 50 stayed on him about all this shit. Hearing about Puffy liking another man's semen on his nipples, as shocking as it is, based on the things that 50 used to try to tease James Cruz to speak on, I'm not that shocked.
Damn.
Plus, Exhibit said, what Superhead said, and then, like I told you, Mace said he invited him to a party and told him no underwear. And shout out to Mace, he said he didn't go, but that was the invite. Keep it a Google, Mace. I'll let your boy. Yo, M-Rat, tell Murder Mace tap in, bro, please. Shout out M-Rat.
When you were around 50, who was the guy that he hated the most?
Game, because Game had more effect on what he had going on. Game was getting the treatment from the higher ups at Interscope that was mimicking 50's treatment. He didn't like that. He felt like Game wasn't being treated as a subservient to him or artist under him. He was being treated like an equal, like he might have actually being the next Dre, 50, or Eminem. And 50 didn't like that because he actually saved Game's career in terms of the contract that he had with Dre being on the back burner. 50 came and gave that a new, but the label wasn't necessarily approaching Game's project like he was a subservient. I can recall, I won't say any numbers, but I remember 50 was quite offended because Game's rollout budget for his initial video was equal to what 50 had spent on his last video. He didn't like that.
Game was getting the same budget as 50 Cent.
At that time,
I mean, Game's first album did $5 million.
Game benefited from being part of the successful overflow structure of what Eminem, Dre, and 50 and Jimmy Iovine had did.
Absolutely.
And he was blessed to be the West Coast representative. And he did. It's not because his talent was over Kendrick's, over mine. He was blessed to be in the proper position because of D-Mac, Desperado Publishing from Mansfield. His business was in order to get the most shine and experience. However, if you listen to Suge, you understand the way deals are structured. Game had a 60-40 with Desperado Publishing that translated into a deal that went through Interscope, G-Unit, and a lot. So Game really did, even though he was extremely popular, he had a struggle financially from day one in being a boss. And with all the exposure that we see him have, we see him even feel, some people feel he's validated to feel like he was left out in the Super Bowl. Some people feel like he's crazy. But for the community that kind of feel where he's coming from, it's because we kind of see his career was almost there. But he was trying to dig himself out of such a financial hole from the beginning, being signed to D-Mac and the way that go. Bro, you know how many albums he would have to sell? You have to have at least one hit record without 50 on the hook in order to recoup. Imagine him actually getting the opportunity to be on the Super Bowl. Shout out to Gang, shout out to Magic. Imagine him getting the opportunity to be on that Super Bowl and trying to represent himself without 50. What record would he perform?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think 50 and Game can coexist.
No, answer this question.
On there.
Had he been a ride invited to participate and said, hey, we need you to do your biggest record without 50 on it, what record would it be?
So his biggest record, I believe, is Hater to Love It.
I said without 50 on it.
So
What
what's
would
his
be
biggest record without 50?
We want you to take this stage. We want it to go dark for 5 seconds. When the lights come on, it's your time. What's your record without 50 on it? If it's not One Blood, don't
I was
rap.
gonna say, is it One Blood?
Yeah, if it's not that, and that's only because you in LA. That won't even work if y'all was somewhere else. But because you was in LA, One Blood probably would have worked. But outside of that, they all performed smash hits. They brought Mary J. So you may be local like these guys, but what is your independent hit separate from them that caused you to qualify? This is no hate. This is just facts. And game, if you would love to discuss it, debate it, disagree about it, the black box is open, bro. We can kick, cack, and be boo for episode. Holla at me. I seen you back on Fig, T-Rail, and Smack, and G Magic know how to get in touch with me. And Wacko No 100. And Top Dog and J-Rock.
So you got Let's Ride, Dreams. Dreams was pretty big.
Oh, him?
That
So
was off
you
his
saying
first album.
what Mike would have went off for the Super Bowl? Both of those
I don't
records,
think Dreams would have worked for
both of those records are records I might like, but
he would have had to do like Let's Ride.
that's with Nipsey.
It's solo song.
You would have to let me hear at least a chord for me to even let me hear a first intro. Oh yeah, yeah. But me, I would have thought that was a 50 Cent song. He's not on that song?
No.
I guarantee you he got that from the 50 Cent beat pool. That don't sound like if I can't
that's the second
do it can't be done. I believe the same producer made that beat. Let's do it again. What's inspired?
Yeah.
Play a couple chords again.
I believe they both are Scott Storch.
Thank you. Just play. No, let me hear
You
it.
want to hear it?
Just for 2 seconds. You know what I want you to? You used to have that footage when that bitch ass Moneybag Rose, Infant Asthma, called me in the middle of our interview, FaceTiming me, showing me that cowboy slipping. You remember I asked you to cut it out? You still have that footage somewhere?
Yes, I'm sure.
Please give it to me. So I've been saving these whole ass. I'm gonna show y'all how much of a whole Moneybag Rose been. How he trying to get in on his cameras and put my name in his mouth with this bullshit. I'm gonna show you. I remember one day I was doing a Capone interview, and in the middle of the interview, it's Moneybag Rose. He trying to, I just thought of that. My bad. I didn't mean which one is on.
No, go for it.
No, shout out DC Baby Draco though.
No, go ahead, bro.
No, I want that clip because there was a clip of us having. We was having no, play that. I'm on one now. But now stop it. That's not the same sound. What song is that?
It's Let's Ride.
Bro, play it again. It's the same shit as I Can't Do It. It's the same chord or something. Same metronome, same tempo, something. If I
The
can't,
keys are very similar.
same, yep.
I mean, they're
So,
done different, but
I believe that record might have worked for people that love game.
it wasn't. Yeah.
But for people who at the Super Bowl that want to hear some music that they haven't heard in a while, that's just going to catch your ear, he doesn't have a record without 50 on it that could affect that. For the white girl who dances like this, who only knows hits, what does he have? If 50 not on it. Like you said, Hated to Love It, West Side Story. I have records that I can really bump from him and listen and appreciate.
How We Do.
Yeah, how we do? 50. Well, I'm talking about as far as a Super Bowl audience. Those records don't exist, and I think.
I mean, what about the song with Keisha Cole?
That's the fact. You have to say the song with Keisha Cole. It's not one of those songs.
See what it's called.
Yeah, me too. That's
I
why.
have a bad memory.
That's why. No, it's not just you. It's the song.
Is it
doesn't.
called Dreams or something?
Dreams is a great song. What I'm trying to say, it does. It's not a song that Mary J. Blige, who touched that stage. So when she hear the first chord, it's not something that strikes familiar with her.
Game's biggest songs are off his first album.
And they're
Yeah.
co-performed, co-written by 50 Cent as well. Facts. I'm Mr. Facts over feelings. Even if I love you, you don't keep it facts. That's facts. his biggest records on his first album and co-written by 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson. Lil Spider, Lil Curtis. I'm Big Curtis.
Now, I believe everybody started to point this out as it started to get worse and worse. But the first thing that I seen when this happened was all of Loose Cannon's videos were taken down off his baby's mom's YouTube page. And this was the first time that everybody was like, oh, they're beefing. But then we come to find out, because I kind of thought it might have been a play. Because they do, you know what I'm saying? They'd be doing them plays and shit.
Poor Cam.
But at this point, I think that it's real. Like, yeah, she really
all,
left.
all that means is somebody finally hit that spot to where she couldn't help it. Oh my God. Somebody make that soak the sheets. Now that she done soaked the sheets for another, now reality kicks in. We've been telling him that was coming. Those that trolled him, been telling him since day one. And telling her, when she act like she didn't know it. We've been telling her, shout out Deezy, SBGV TV. We've been telling this what was coming from day one. And now, you know, reality finally caught up to our prediction. That poor Nani was hot. You don't do surgery to get new titties, new teeth, new ass to put your on timeout for a slow tart in the face. It just doesn't, that's not why you do physical surgery. You make yourself extremely attractive in your perspective to get as much as you can. And if the man you chose to on you as much as you can is no longer available, why do I have all these fake body parts?
You know, they said that this happened after Loose Cannon was being offered like 30 years.
32 years, I heard.
32, okay.
32 years, 32 months, I heard she would do the same. Whether she knew it or not, when that, the hot, pulsating and beating, and a way more attractive than you missing, way more established, is on your bumper. Do you know what happens in nature? It's natural. I don't care what she thought she was gonna do. You're not there, that thing does this. Yes! She don't care about you, him, nobody. Cassie was letting Diddy fly strangers in to beat that hot motherfucker up. Sharice want that motherfucker beat up. I've heard that slow are well endowed. So maybe he was so slow, he might have been just, she missed that. From young, I have baby mamas that are in the child care industry. And just from being young, being aware, I've been told that. And I got a little brother that's challenged. I'm under the understanding when you challenge, you blessed. She might have been sprung on a challenge nigga blessings. If you sprung on that blessing and it's gone, somebody gotta come knock it home. Shout out to Sharice Mills. I think Rick Rock might be beating up on that. I heard him, he was putting in his bed for a long time. He was trolling.
Rick Rock has been talking about this
What?
forever.
And I bet you, whether she thought.
The same thing, man.
Hey.
Whenever you go to jail, I'm gonna be calling. I'm gonna be right there for you.
Hey, you got, after you got action captain, hey, Rick Rock, don't let up now, my dear. She ready. Somebody knocking it down. That thing is squirting. That shit's squirting like Munchie B G-Spot when the neighborhood Crips finger banged his booty hole. That motherfucker is wet.
Now, I recently seen that you knew Orlando Anderson.
Rest in peace, Baby Lane. What you mean? Yes, sir. It was, yeah, it's my
How
love.
did you guys meet, and what was your guys' relationship?
Well, my mother has 1, 2, 3, minus 1. Rest in peace, my auntie Abby, my very favorite family member ever. My favorite, I don't want to say my favorite auntie because I have aunties that are alive, but they know my favorite, but she's my favorite family member ever. My auntie Abby, rest in peace. My auntie Rachel, my Esther. So, you just asked me how I know who?
Orlando Anderson.
So my auntie Esther, my mother's sister, who, that is the two oldest, she had 2 sons. They're both slightly older than me. They were born like in 73, 75. I was born in 76. She happened to live on Chester between Greenleaf and South Park. South Park is the headquarters of the South Side Compton Crips. So all my life, I've been on Chester off of Greenleaf, growing up, hanging with not only Orlando, but all the other kids that grew up to be Southside Compton Crips, a lot of them, from Poo Poo to KK to Chico to Dirter to Curtis, a couple of the Aces. It's a lot of just, we grew up, my mama got siblings and they all lived in different parts of the ghetto. If you get babysit, spend time, you have childhood friends in all these areas, and these people grow up to be the Crips. And Baby Lane happened to be one of them Crips that I've been knowing since a kid, going on my auntie house.
Do you have any stories hanging out with him?
Yes, one story I can give that, I'll tell you this. As a young kid, not quite jumping off the porch, cuz having more access to me, not just being a gang banger, but just being mannish and being grown and being in the street. I can remember this, him telling a story, and I'm just listening. He talking to a group, and I remember being a young nigga, this impressed me. And this ain't no gangster story, but he's just like, yeah. He might have been lying, cuz now when I look back, but it's what he thought he should say. He's like, yeah, I went to go get my checkup for football. Yeah, whoop. I went there, yeah, man, that bitch grabbed my dick, asked me to cuff. Oh, my shit got hard. He's like, I went out the room, threw my paper away, balled it up, and got back in line. We so young, and he seemed like he was so serious. I believed him back then. And he was I'm thinking like, that's different. And just imagine, he died at 21, and when they raided his apartment in Lakewood, they said they found like 20-something thousand. He owned a house on Burris in his hood too, though. So that wasn't even that. Baby Lane done drove with me. I done left Glencoe and Burris. Do your research with Glencoe and Burris. No, not Glencoe and Burris. Yeah. If you turn off Greenleaf, make a left on Glencoe. No, Burris is the other block that they forget. On Glencoe in their hood. I done took Baby Lane from there. My mama, when I was a teenager, had a car, a Sterling. Her license plate said KNOWGOD. No God. I used to get my mama car, borrowing her car, and go do a gang of gangster shit out her car. One of the things I've done, me and Baby Lane rode from Southside Compton Hood to 97 East Coast as he's my passenger, shot dice with my homies. I remember one time, my homegirl Marcia, who from my neighborhood, she went to the feds. She lived on Greenleaf. And she lived on 93rd, but she lived on Greenleaf. She happened to go to the airport, accidentally left a pistol in her luggage. Surprised herself, she caught a case. She had turned herself into the feds. She threw a party at her house in Compton to turn herself in. So maybe she got turned herself in Wednesday. That Saturday, she threw a party. I'm over there in Southside Hood all day with my cousin Stay Slow, knowing that the homies is coming later on to have a party. We teenagers, like 94. So I remember, long story short, cause I ended up squabbing Sang from Atlantic Drive, my low. We ended up in the pen after that together and all that. I know how to find him on social media right now. My Sang, we got down, cuz. And then while we getting down, Lil Mill from Atlantic Drive seen me whooping on Sang. They didn't jump me, but he kind of came to take the fade. And as I turned my attention to Sang, to Lil Mill, my cousin tried to hey, hold up. And whatever happened, whatever. All I want to say is this. Mind you, I told you my homies was having a party in Southside Hood, right? So we left, it's over with. Keefe D, so the first time I met Keefe D too, or the second time. But Keefe D pulled up before I left, asked me was I all right. He used to call me Little East Coast. Hey, straight Little East Coast? He could tell something just happened. But it didn't get so far out of hand that I had to no, we straight cuz, good. Me and my cousin left on foot. He from Southside, walking from the incident. Later on, I told you my homies, Marcia, Big Mama, POW, Prisoners of Watch, y'all know, she was throwing a party for to turn herself in. Now the homies is deep. I remember the Southside's first E-double. Some young niggas coming to the party and just trying to post up in the living room. Till the homies came and told me, cuz this ain't no open party. It's private. The young niggas from Southside, y'all in our hood though. It don't matter though, this is private. They left. The next thing I remember is Baby Lane pulling up. Now mind you, my cousin Stay Slow, he just got to the halfway house this week from Chino from a case where he was accused of.
Wait, hold on, bro. Let me. So you were at a Southside party.
We was at an East Coast party in Southside Hood, a private party, but we in their hood, so they see it's going on. They see it's like ghetto gangster. They feel comfortable coming in and sniffing on shit.
Okay.
Not really familiar that I have whatever connections I have. They see some Crips, part of the hood they don't know. They do what we would do. They come in there and post up. Now the homies is whispering, asking. I'm the more familiar with this area than anybody. I'm the one that go tell them, like, cuz this ain't no, it's private. And when they try to, like, as a politician, I let them know, cuz it's private. They leave. The next thing is, Baby Lane pull up. Now, mind you, anybody from Southside that's 50, between 35 or 50 know this. You might be a little older. Baby Lane and my cousin Stacy was like this. Orlando and Stacy was like this. He was the record. We grew up going to private school. My auntie was single, 2 sons, trying to protect them from the neighborhood. She been trying to save my cousin from Orlando since we was kids. That was his buddy. It's no secret. The world don't know this, but Orlando been in my life since day one. My Aunt Esther, I love you, Auntie Esther, she been trying to save Stacy and us from those type of influence. And Orlando always took a liking. Baby Lane took a liking to my cousin, so he always been in my life, even before he was gang banging. So the story that I'm attempting to tell is, what was I on? What happened?
You left the party?
Left the
party?
No, I'm still at the party.
Okay.
The next time, I told you, the South Side's left, the little grimy young. They got understanding and left. The next time a Southside came to the party, Baby Lane pulled up. He in a Cutlass. He don't come in. I find out he in a driveway asking for me. I go sit in Baby Lane passenger seat. He like, the nigga jumped you.
Oh, this was from earlier in the day.
Earlier that day. Now, mind you, after this shit happened, over there on Glencoe, I squabbled the Atlantic Drives. My cousin tried to get in it. Whatever. Lil Spank was out there, Lil Duck was out there, because it was a Lil Duck spot. So, when I walked to remember I told you my homegirl was giving a party. When we walked to the party, me and my cousin, Stacy, we walk in the mirror. Back then, it wasn't no pro club. It was Stafford t-shirts. We used to go to like a Robinson May or Mervin's. You get 3-pack of Staffords. I remember, cause I had 2 Staffords on. This in the 90s. I remember my cousin said he got a headache. So we go in the bathroom, we looking in the mirror. When he look in the mirror, these 2 t-shirts at the bottom, it's like this. And his shit kind of swole. But we still not thinking his jaw is, bro. We young, bro. I'm like, he lives where so on Glen Coast where the shit happened, well, you can walk about 5 minutes. It's where my homegirl stayed on Greenleaf to the party. Walk 5 more minutes to Chester, that's where he stayed. So when we walked from the incident, stopped at the party, he had blood on his shirt. He like, man, I got a headache, I'm gonna go home. I'm begging him, no, stay and party with me, cuz. I had 2 steps, we used to wear double up. Back then, we used to wear 2 shirts to make it look. So I remember taking one of my shirts off, standing in the mirror. He put it on, he tried to think about it. He like, no, I got a headache, I remember walking him home to Chester, and I stayed at the party. In that time, after that, Baby Lane came and pulled up. When I get in the car, it's what Baby Lane told me. SSIP Baby Lane. On my mama, he like, hey, did they jump you? I'm like, they didn't jump me. But I was kind of like getting with one man, and then Lil Mill tried to come in, then they kind of turned and got on my cousin. I said, but they didn't jump me, cuz. Dead homies on milk, 9-7 Crip. Baby Lane told me like, look, we can leave my gun here and go around there and do whatever you want to do. I said, now, who Baby Lane was at that time, that's a lot to say. I know what that means. I'm like, who? I'm like, hey, you talk to Stacy? He like, yeah. I'm like, what did he say? He say, Stacy say he really don't want to do nothing because his mama house right there. He don't want to, which is my mama too. That's my mama's sister, but that's my mama. So I tell Baby Lane like, cuz I can't override that. I feel the same way. So Baby Lane let me know, we can go deal with my homies however you want. I'll leave my gun here and you the only nigga that got a gun. I didn't really trust it. Baby Lane's a gangster. He from Southside Compton. Even though I was glad he told me, Stacy said he don't want no problems to protect our mother, his mother, my auntie, but our mother, I was grateful to hear that. But at the same time, I didn't really trust that shit that he was gonna go put in work on his homies with me. But guess what happened 3 months later? He went to war with them same niggas. They shot him, grazed him in the head. Glen Coast and Birdsbog went to war. And it made me think like, ooh, he was serious. He was ready to kick this shit off over me and Stacy a few months later. And then with his uncle, Big Fink, and who was, it started with something else. But the same group of ended up going to war. You think I can say all this on your camera without it being factual, true, even though it's 30 years old? If I'm missing a detailed fact, everybody from Southside know I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, this was kind of crazy, man, because when I interviewed Jefe D, I asked him about Orlando getting shot in the knees with an AK.
I don't know nothing about that. He
And-
dead. The story I used to hear about
And
Baby Lane.
the look on his face when I asked him that question, and he didn't want to talk about it.
There may be some truth
You
to
know,
it then.
but the look on his face was like, holy, how do you know about that?
And look, I know Baby Lane so well, Orlando so well, that if you know that and I don't, you f me up. Cause I'm talking about like going to private school and wanting to gangbang from a semi-distance. My mama doing everything she could to stop me. Because my first cousin, my brother Stacy and Clarence grew up on Chester, Baby Lane was one of the first I kind of really had access to understand. I kind of tend to think I know all the major stories. Like Lil Al, those that know Lil Al was my loc to this day. That was who was with him when he got killed. When he got into shootout with the Park Villages, the Pocket Hoods, it was Baby Lane of Southside and two brothers, the Storm brothers from Pocket Hood. The person who's found guilty for all three murders, you get the felony murder, is my dog, Lil Al. So not only from Lil Al, but from my cousin Stacy, I think I got a pretty good idea of a lot of like Baby Lane story. I've never heard that one, so of course I don't know everything.
Maybe it's not true. Maybe,
but it may be.
Maybe he just gave me a weird look because
I take up the stories I know about Baby Lane that I believe that I wasn't there when I was young. It was times when he was in backyards at parties full of people. And something happened with me that wasn't bad, and they lost their life in front of everybody. And nobody never said, yeah, that's the type of shit that he was doing before 20 that let everybody know. Plus, guess what? When that death row shit popped off, because of my cousin from Southside, I think it was right before that. Anybody from Southside who know when T-Rat died, I don't remember when T-Rat died, but when T-Rat died, I remember going to a Southside funeral. From the youngest Crip, might be 10 years old, to the 50-year-old Crips. You didn't see no Chuck Taylors, no Pumas, no airbrush, no khakis. Nigga, everybody had on Gators, Stacy's, dress shoes. I was at the funeral wondering, like, where the Crips at? Funny haircuts. But go hang out in a hood that day, it's before beams is normal. Everybody had a gun with a light on it. They been on some different shit. Like they been on some different shit. I remember being on Burris, cuz hanging with the Southsides in a big ass diesel. I'm a longshoreman. I know what a 45-foot container is now. I done seen 45-foot containers get pulled up on a block and they unloading a truck full of radios, Capone sets, speakers, where it might be all jabos. I done seen a whole truck. Ain't nobody older than 22. Kicking it in a spot owned by Baby Lane, on Burris. Everybody's young, trapping, ain't no furniture in here. And all of a sudden, here come a big ass diesel bagging up 52-foot container full of jabos, or full of Guess, or full of Converse. These are the type of licks these was on back then, bro.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, that they were always about money. Jefe D got caught with the drug ring with enough drugs that he could have got a life sentence.
Now, I got love for Lil Jefe D, and I got love for the South Side, so I try my hardest not to speak on Big Jefe D and a lot of shit that we all witnessed. He done some bunk, bro. I done seen him try to blame a lot of shit he shouldn't have said he had said. However, before all that, the legend that Jefe D was fits very well into the story that's been told. He was one of them. But a lot of things I've seen Suge say lately here, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand what these older dudes are going through, but the Jefe D he could have been and died as, he kind of like, he threw it away. He said too much.
What were your thoughts when people started associating Orlando with the murder of Tupac?
I'm fortunate or unfortunate enough to know that that's not true. So no matter how big the story got, I'm one of the people that just always knew it wasn't true.
Right. Right. I think you've talked about this before.
Yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that for the reason that Tupac's killer is still alive.
You know, when you signed your deal with G Unit, like, how were you treated? Did they give you a good deal? You know, like, what were 50 Cent's deals
I'm gonna
like
tell
at
you,
the
I had
time?
the same entertainment lawyer as Mac 10 and E40, Robert Lieberman, and he told me, I'm gonna take this contract. I'm gonna put a few marks on it because that's, protocol. But the deal is what it is. 50 basically told me the same thing. The deal is what it is. You can send it to your lawyer, but the basics of the deal is not gonna change. Just take it or leave it, basically. It was a $650,000 deal. Let's go. So if I had to break down all the intricacies and the details, I'm not capable. But I did do my due diligence and hire Mac 10 and E40's lawyer. He oversaw everything, Robert Lieberman, and basically told me, you sign it or not. They're not gonna, but he did his due diligence. He said, I'm gonna work some shit up and see if we can get him to budge here and there. But the basis of the deal is what it was. It was basically the same deal that Game got.
Was it would you say it was a fair deal?
Yeah, but only thing he didn't deliver on his end. He never fulfilled his part of it. I never cut an album or it was promoted. All I ever got the advance, and I was able to have cameos and videos. That was basically about it. He never did anything about it as far as promotion or developing my career whatsoever.
Do you think that his fallout with Game had any effects on him not wanting to work with you?
No, I never, no. I think that was one of his main motivations of wanting to work with me. However, I met him in 04. 05, my G homie, Big Spotter, my brother, caught a case, which he's still in jail on from right now. And I can understand why, as he caught that case, he thought it was wise to go in there and say, hey, I ain't robbed nobody. What I look like robbing somebody? 50 Cent just signed my brother and gave him $2 million. Go look at my website, spotload.com. I believe those people have tapped 50 on the shoulder. When you go to spotload.com, not only do you see pictures of me and my brother with piles of money and weapons that we didn't get for 50 Cent, that we got illegally, you also see us there with pictures next to 50 Cent at video shoots. He had 2 crimees. All 3 of their bails was $100,000. Once he told the police that, the very next day, his bail shot to $10.5 million. This was 05. He hasn't been home since for a robbery. There is no way in the world you could tell me the people haven't asked 50 something about that case. That was in 05. There's another case.
Wait, he got a robbery and nobody died?
Nobody died. It was a robbery for like a large amount of pound of weed and like 6 figures, like 6, I don't know what the number was.
Was it a home invasion?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
probably why.
Out in Riverside County. Yeah. But on top of that, there's also a murder that took place in those days. And somehow, because whoever thought whatever, there's a claim or statement, there's paperwork floating around that says this was a hit provided with G-Unit money. These are things that 50 has never spoken to me about, that I know for a fact are true, that caused me to believe he got spooked, bro. Got scared. Especially when he know certain residents were shot up in Glendale, even though we knew, whether it was Jimmy Henchman or Tony Yayo Graham. I remember it was just a thing about houses getting shot up. I'm a G-Unit Crip. Houses started getting shot up in Glendale, California.
Now, did you see 50 Cent going after Jim Jones and Mano?
Very vaguely. I'm so unimpressed by that type of shit by a grown-ass millionaire. I kind of see it, but no, I don't have no real, I kind of, like, what did you want to ask me? I kind of.
50's threatening to buy their building because he says they're $180,000 behind on their rent. This is just typical 50, if you with 50, he goes and buys your shit. Or, like I just really found out too that BMF is no longer on the Stars website or in the app or anything to do with Stars anymore. Which I thought was crazy.
Imagine when Hollywood could bury a real street legend, bro. A gimmick. I remember Suge telling me before I ever met 50, ever thought I would meet 50. I remember standing in a Death Row parking lot. It was some 50 Cent music playing, or the moment was 50. I remember Suge smoking a cigar telling me, don't worry about that. That's just a gimmick, watch. I'm thinking Suge a hater. Then I ended up meeting 50 going, and I've been counting you as a hater. But now, Meech, everything Meech meant to the culture. BMF. Cause this cornball that don't even know how to mediate shit with his firstborn son says so. Now BMF lost value? How? That lets you know the game is being affected by the squares more so than the squares affecting the game, bro. Any that is comfortable getting on camera saying, oh, Chris Lighty died, they called it suicide. His family didn't believe that. They thought it was something else. So I personally funded an investigation into his murder. How are we asking about anything street or G related? You're comfortable funding murder investigations to try to prove the police wrong that said it was suicide, only according to you, because his family wanted you to. Imagine the gangbang culture bending to what people's parents request. The number one rule to be a real stomp down street is saying my mama and them say. If you can't get over that, you can't participate. If you ain't a hard-headed kid ready to break the rules and get a whooping, go against what your parents say. He said the only reason he investigated the murder is because Chris Lighty's mama wanted you to. You're not a gangster. If you can't turn your back on your parents' wishes, you can never be a gangster. How many parents want your kids to be a gangster?
Right.
You saw Scarface. What happened when he tried to come in with that money? She didn't want it. Remember Tony started washing them dishes? What if Scarface said, okay, mommy, I'm sorry, mommy. Okay. No, Tony, I wash dishes, give me a job. That ain't what gangsters do, bro. I don't give a Puto mama know me. I love you, Mama Cynthia. She know. There's nothing I'ma do. She don't even like the name Puto. Can you imagine your son being named Puto? Met him when he was grown already? He already got a name like Tarzan, Rare Rest, Randy. Everybody love him. He has Mexican in his blood. And y'all come this black nigga calling him Puto. Every time she heard the word, she said, I don't like that name. She couldn't stand it. After he died though, his first birthday, she popped up on me. She called me, bro, you home? Yeah, got something for you. She gave me a goblet I'm gonna cherish forever. It's inscribed with Puto on it. I love you. She hate that name, but she get it now, you feel me? Because it was never disrespect. It was me having a friend he had some Mexican in his blood. He got first cousins that's 100% Mexican. They were on the same street. His mama is half Mexican, or his grandmama was half Mexican. So just me talking shit, kicking with him, every time I was like, man, he's a puto. It was just that. It never meant you's a bitch. It was just, that's like a cuss word for Mexicans. And I'm finna tell you, and next thing you know that everybody, I don't know, to this day we don't know how it turned into his name. Of course, never calling my dog no bitch, but it was just me, you see.
Sometimes nicknames be like that.
You see T-Rail and Smack, bitch ass. That's me calling Puto a puto. Yeah. Hey, it's a puto. And it just turned into his name, bro. So many times we get in places and people like question it, and he has so much confidence and so on. You don't gotta explain it. Yeah, think what you want to think. E double, 3 up top to my low.
All right, well, Spider Loke, man, I appreciate you.
Hey, Count Capone, I see you having a lot of repeat personalities.
A lot of what?
Repeat personalities.
Okay.
Who might not be viral. They might not have nothing new to say. Makes me think you kind of respect what they have to say about anything. And I think you, from my perspective, like you're building something. I want to be part, bro. So if you got recurring guests that come through and help you build your content creation, being one of your day unos from this last chapter of your shit, I want to be a part, bro.
Okay, I will. I'll try to get you in more. I think like we talked about, I got my studio coming, so that's gonna definitely opened things up for me to
Appreciate
just bring
it.
more
Shout out to
people in
Bosco, just to be
and to
Google.
do a lot.
Bosco is one of the person I love the way you keep the homie on deck, bro. I love it. Appreciate you for appreciating the culture. I don't know y'all personal relationship. You see Bosco ain't thirsty to do a lot of content, but I see you keep him on deck. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Gita, gratitude is the attitude. That's Gita.
That's what it is. What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.